Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pat Matthew. I'm here to talk to you guys today a little bit about the Metatrader 5 platform. There's been a lot of hype surrounding this platform lately. It's getting ready to come out. We're guessing within the next 6 months is what we've heard from brokers such as FXDD and Alpari, both of which have a copy of the platform for you to download. And you'll see we have the platform pulled up here. Looks very similar to the Metatrader 4 platform. Of course, there are some subtle differences and also some differences that will seriously impact your trading. So we actually just downloaded this from the Alpari site. You can go here and do the same. Download Metatrader 5. I will currently point out that you cannot have the platform trading live accounts yet. As I said before, it should be somewhere within the next 6 months where we'll have those capabilities. They're still in the final stages of debugging the platform, getting all the functionality correct and things of that nature. But you can download the demo platform and you can build expert advisors and you can use indicators and watch the market from the demo accounts, which is something that is still pretty useful. So we're going to go ahead now and talk about some of the differences between Metatrader 4 and Metatrader 5, some things that have been added, some things that you can and cannot do. And for one, we'll notice one of the big features of Metatrader 5 is supposed to be the depth of market technology. You can see here it is disabled on the demo versions, so it kind of makes me personally think if they're gonna have this finalized for the Forex market and for the Metatrader 5 platform. For those of you that don't know, I'll bring in a depth of the market right now. This is what the depth of the market looks for. This is the S&P 500. This is the depth of the market. You can see the quantity of bids and offers of the market. It's very useful, and it's something that we really hope is incorporated and finalized into the Metatrader 5 platform. Some other things that are useful down here, we have an exposure bar chart that'll sort of show you how your assets and your positions are divvied up in the Forex market. It's something it's a small subtle addition, but nonetheless can be very helpful. We'll get into more of this later when we start putting positions on and getting into things of that nature. Also, we have more indicators, which are always helpful. Let's go ahead and pull up our indicators here. Indicators, lots more indicators. Especially in the custom, you'll see much more custom indicators. Don't have time to break all these down individually. Maybe we'll do a webinar later dedicated just to some of the indicators in the MT5 platform. But other than that, let's get into some of the real issues and where a lot of the hype is building up in the Metatrader 5 platform, and that is surrounding order placement. Now, before in Metatrader 4, if you place 2 orders, you would see you'd have 2 individual orders down here, and that was just sort of how it was using Metatrader. But now, well, let me show you what happens. So you go pull up a pound dollar order ticket. Let's put on half a lot. We're going to buy, queued, okay. So we can see we have the order down here. Looks pretty much the same. Now let's go ahead and put another order on. We'll buy more. And you can see it's the same order, and they've just averaged that price. So now it's only one order. What this does is it basically eliminates hedging, because now, like I said before, notice we have, we had the 2 orders, so we have the net volume, which is now one lot, the average price, and we didn't have a stop loss or take profit, and the total profit for the position. So now remember, we used to be able to come in here, and if we sold, that would have been, our 3rd order, and we could be, hedged essentially. Now, when we come in here and we sell, boom, it just takes us out of the trade. It's like trading, stocks or commodities. So it's really gonna pretty much disable all old MT4 hedging bots. Like, their logic is completely broken. So those, I think we'll have a very tough time transitioning into the Metatrader 5 platform. So, and personally, if you hedge, you're kind of SOL with the Metatrader 5 platform, unless you want to get into multiple accounts, different brokerages hedging. But to be honest, that's kind of a mess and something you probably should avoid. I will also point out Metatrader 4 will still be fully supported by most brokers. It'll be around, I speculate, definitely for the next few years to come. So there's not a huge push to move everyone to Metatrader 5 when there's a lot of comfortable people on Metatrader 4. Now let's move on and talk a little more about, I'm going to go ahead and close this position out. Let's talk a little bit about the back testing and the expert advisors in Metatrader 5. So we go to View, Strategy Tester. Some new things down here. For one, backtesting execution. Now, you used to have the option where it was you could only do 1 minute data would be the tightest time frame. Now where we have every tick. You can see before we usually only got that 1 minute open, high, low, close. Now we can get it down to every tick, which should significantly help the modeling quality of these systems. And something very interesting also is for optimization. We still have pretty much the same methods as before, but you can do what's called a walk forward. In these windows, how this works is, let's say you run an optimization of 2009. So I'll just put in 2009 here. So that's all of 2009. The walk forward will run that optimization. It'll find the best settings, the settings that produce the most profit based on net profit or expected payoff or drawdown or whatever you specify right here, actually, so you can do balance max, and it will automatically then take the best settings and run a back test of those settings for half this window. This is very, very technologically intensive, important stuff, and I recommend you read up more on it. We don't have time to go into every nuance of walk forward optimization during this webinar, but I highly recommend you look into that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run a back test here. This is just the sample MACD, that comes with the trading platform, Euro US dollar for all of 2009. We're going to go ahead and do the every tick. Disable optimization for now. Start the back test. We can pull up a graph of the actual back test. You can see here it seems a little more interactive, a little more crisper than the old MT4 platform. You have green equity, blue balance, and you actually have the margin level down here, which is new. Kind of interesting, something to play around with. So we're going to let this run. Also have an inputs tab. I guess the developers, MetaQuotes, felt it was necessary to have an inputs tab. Usually you just had, the expert properties button over here you could click and pop up, but hey, it doesn't hurt anyone. So now that this is done, we can go in here and look at the results. You can actually switch between the deals view or the orders, which is more the traditional one. Orders and deals. As before, you can right click, open chart. There was a button before, and you can still actually do the double click the order, and it'll take you to the spot on the chart where the order is executed. One of my personal favorite features. Other than that, you got a lot of options of the view that you can switch between here. So the strategy tester, that's pretty much it. Again, I recommend you play around with the walk forward optimization stuff. And also, let's take a look at some of the actual coding differences. We can go expert advisor, we'll create a new one. Expert advisor, boom, next. Call it test. Yes, we'll override it. Okay. So for the most part, it's the same. For those of you who are familiar with the Metatrader 4, a lot of similarities with Metatrader 5. One thing is nice is that this one has a debugger, so you can start this debugger and go through and you can put in the break lines and go through and really debug your code. Really cuts down on the development and debugging time. Just a huge help. So this will hopefully take away from a lot of the time the developers spend debugging stuff and allow them to develop new things and spend time working on optimizations and backtesting and making different trading systems. Also, you can what's kind of cool is that if you declare a variable later on when you use the variable, Metatrader 5 will automatically recognize that you're using one of your custom variables and will auto-generate the variable. Helps again on debugging and misspelling variable names and stuff. Very cool. I recommend you take a look at it. As for all of that, everything is relatively in line with Metatrader 4. We're really looking forward to this product coming out. We think that expert advisors will be taken to a whole nother level being developed within Metatrader 5. We're really excited for it. And if you guys have any questions, comments, anything about Metatrader 5, or anything at all for that matter, go ahead and email us info@forextoolshop.com.